Kerry Wood, the Auckland Centre for Business Excellence. In this 5-video series, we're covering off the 5 keys, the 5 imperatives to hyper-growing the profit in your business. The first we covered off was leads, that is prospects, new lifeblood for your business. Then we looked at conversions, that is once they've come in the door, once they've picked up the phone, the skills, the processes, the conversations that you use to convert them to paying clients. Thirdly, we dealt with the value of the invoice. We introduced you to the 6 most profitable words in the English language. Would you like fries with that? Some people think of it as bundling, but it's about adding products or services to an existing client, adding value, really building your invoice value because the costs remain usually the same. Last week we talked about repeat invoices. You all know about the loyalty cards when you go to a cafe or a sushi bar. We've agreed. They probably don't want to really give you a free cup of coffee, but when you've got that loyalty card in your hand and you make a decision, that's where you go. So what in your business can you do to make people come back? What can you do to make yourself more valuable? The last item is margin. That is the difference between how much you pay to provide a service and what's left at the end in your bank. There are 2 or 3 key things that you should be doing to make sure that the margin you are generating is as good as it can get, the best it can be, returning you to the best. The first is actually measuring everything. Nothing you do in your business should be done without being able to measure it. If you don't measure it, you can't manage it. For example, if you have sales reps, the sales reports, the sales activity, the time they spend should be measured exactly. That is 35 hours in a week, for example, 7 sales calls a day times 5 days is 35 calls divided by the number of sales, etc. Just come up with a ratio. Why? Because by making those numbers more and more clear, you can work on them. So this is the profit that happens in your business. Secondly, what you measure, you manage. Every supplier to your business, every supplier, you should constantly review and look at what they deliver for what you pay them. We all have telecommunication costs, mobile costs, car costs. We have insurance costs. Every year you should review all of these. Now these are simple management things. But the next thing we need to think about is what you're actually doing with your cost of goods and your cost of doing business. Your suppliers all supply you certain products. When was the last time you went back to every supplier looking for possibly a better price, even on one item? And bearing in mind, a 1% improvement in your buy price may result in a 7 to 16% improvement in the margin at the end of the day. And lastly, when you're dealing with your core customers, the improvement in your value of your invoice and the repeating of that invoice, because you've already acquired the client, will relate to a massive increase in the margin in the business. 5 steps to hyper-grow your business. Improve your leads, the prospects that come in, the other lifeblood. Look at the skills of communication, how you convert them from prospects to paying clients. Improve the value of your invoices. That is, measure the average value of your invoices and increase that. Get every client buying more often from you and measure every cost in the business. Kerry Wood, Principal, Auckland Centre for Business Excellence.